What's going on, traders? What's going on? Welcome back to another live stream. Happy Thursday, October 30th. Hopping on a little bit early. Gonna see if we can't find a setup. I think I got something potentially setting up for pre-market here we're gonna be taking a look at. But before we hop onto the charts, before we say what's up in the chat, make sure you read what's on the screen. Trading is risky. Most traders do lose money. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't provide financial advice. Nothing I say or do here or anywhere else is a suggestion or recommendation to do anything at all. Make sure you do your own research. Make your own trading decisions. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is. Even in funded prop firm accounts, and the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content like Top 1 Futures, code RDF, Bookmap, and others. Now, let's hop onto these charts, man. Let's talk about that FOMC. End of FOMC yesterday. We'll talk about a trade that I clipped before FOMC and how it would have been a banger. We'll talk about making some trading decisions. But first and foremost, what's up? How we doing, guys? Pro Trader, Dwayne, Kim Z, Dwayne again, Andrew Bags, what's up? Rob, what's up? Paul, what's up? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Thank you for being here with me. If you're new, I'm here every damn day, 9:15 a.m. Eastern. Today a little bit early. Trading live, giving out instant funded accounts, BSing, yapping, but certainly not providing financial advice. All right, tell you part of the reason I wanted to hop on here early, outside of just being ready to roll early, I am looking at a potential buy area on YM. Sorry, guys, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on with this stream. I keep getting an alert. Hang on, YouTube. Don't kick me. Don't kick me. Great start to the account. Gifted to me yesterday. Appreciate you, Zach. Rob took the W on the free account yesterday. Very nice, Rob. Let's see. So here's what I'm looking at. Let's kind of get some market analysis rolling. Obviously, very big bullish structure overall. We don't have to go through too much higher time frame analysis, or at least I'm not going to right off the bat. I got short up here. Above prior day high yesterday. We chopped for the entire session. As you can see, this was about an hour, less than an hour before the FOMC rate. I made the executive decision to clip this one. You know, unfortunately, it traded 450 points past, in profit, right? Over like a 2.5 to 1, based on the amount of risk that I had on. Is that always going to happen? No. You got to be ready for this candle to print right here to the upside if you're going to leave those trades on. But continuing to talk about it, looking at this, we sold off really aggressively. We started to get some really big back and forth movement here in YM, but we really settled near the lows. I will note real quick that that's not really what we did yesterday on ES and NQ. We came all the way back up through prior day high on ES and on NQ. I think it's worth noting that because a lot of you guys are on NQ. We actually put the high of day in, right into the close on NQ. And then today, pre-market, we swept that right in the overnight session. We cracked to the upside. We are in sync across all of these, selling off into this, into this pre-market session. We're about 25 minutes from NYSE open right now. But it is worth noting that we really didn't get this movement out of YM. We got big pops to the upside, which can be really gnarly to trade. I mean, this is just insanity, man. On, we're talking over 1,000 ticks, 350 points. Pretty wild movement. We really didn't get much out of the number. It was all during the conference yesterday, once Jerome Powell started talking, answering questions. So anyway, here we are on YM, selling off similar to ES and NQ after not really popping up into the close, not popping up in the overnight session, although we did come back all the way back up here towards Tuesday's volume point of control, this area of high volume. And now we've really just been selling off through Asia, London into pre-market here. If we continue to crack to the downside, my area of interest, first area of interest, right? And just taking a look at this daily range. Yeah, first area of interest is going to be down here near this Friday's, right? Last Friday's volume point of control. It would also be filling this gap if we zoom in, right? There is a unfilled gap right here that you can see on the 15-minute chart. To the downside. I could see us cracking to the downside really aggressively right off the open or even in pre-market before the open. And I could be looking for a long here for my standard reversion play. Oh, that's... What in the world? Oh my gosh. All right, let's not be trading view amateurs here. That's not what I meant to do. Did not want the brush. Need another cup of coffee today. That area. Because if I zoom in like this, you don't see it, right? I don't care to mark zones. I don't like really marking support and resistance zones, supply and demand zones, order blocks, whatever it is. You should be able to have an idea of where this zone is coming from, right? Volume point of control, Friday close, obvious area of high volume. If I look to the downside, zooming out on the 15-minute chart, if we start to get down below that level, here would be area number 2 that I'd be looking, right? Take a look at visible range volume profile. We die off right here, right? In between all of this and all the way down into like the 275s, 250s. Obviously lining up with a couple highs up here. We start selling off way, way, way below that. We put a huge down day. I don't know that I'm looking long, right? I really don't know that I'm looking long. So I can leave this up. Now, these are pretty close. Just framing out my trade idea, guys. Yeah, I'm going to leave both of these on here just to get an idea. I could see if we crack in pre-market to the downside, I could see this as a nice opportunity right back up towards VWAP, even back up towards prior day low, volume points of control from earlier this week. I could easily see that. Even if we're going to continue to sell off, we often just don't knife in one direction, right? Now, we could, absolutely could, but that's not the reversion style trade that I shoot for right off the open. I don't love how this is right below, and we could knife like right through this and then find some buyers down here. But this is going to be area of interest first. Yeah, guys, I'm not going to leave these zones on my chart. I don't like them. I just don't like having zones on my chart. I do better without them. I like to apply more discretion as we're coming into an area, looking at bookmap and visible range volume profile. But these are the areas that I'm going to be looking, right? Let's say if I had to put a number on it, the 450s, 47,450s here on YM, if I had to put a line there. Below that, potential area for buyers, let's say 300s, 47 300s. Now, we might not do that. We could pop right back up to the upside. If we do just pop right up to the upside through pre-market into market open, I'm going to potentially be looking for a short above this overnight session high, right? Potentially for a continuation down to those areas that I would be looking long off of, right? Those would become targets. This is my initial reversion style trade off of the often over-exaggerated, impulsive wick in whatever direction that YM wants to wick right off the open, right? I don't mind it from either direction today. Fine with it. We got a lot of people calling tops here, right? And I don't like to be a person calling higher time frame anything, like, right, speculating on what the market's going to do over the next, weeks, or the tops in and that's it, start looking shorts. It's just not how I trade. I'm more unbiased. But I will say that looked pretty toppy. That's the real technical explanation on YM and on NQ and ES after that movement. Big sell-off, popped right back up through the highs and then immediately all the way back down and now selling off into the open. It feels like the classic buy the rumor, sell the news, right? Where we knew we had FOMC coming up this week. We knew that the market was potentially going to be interpreting that data positively, right? Or at least that's what everybody was reporting on. What did we do all week? We cracked to the upside, right? We drifted way higher. Aggressive moves in ES, NQ, and YM. News hits, sell the news, right? Now we're going to sell back off and kind of erase that move to the upside. We've almost erased the entire move to the upside, right? Here's the current week low, right? If we look at a weekly candle, which is a wildly high time frame to look at, there we go. Going back down to the low. Let's just take a quick look at ES. Kind of similar move out of ES. I think NQ is even a little bit more exaggerated than this. And not as aggressively coming back down to the weekly low because we had such a bullish movement out of NQ. But worth noting. So, higher time frame context, still very bullish overall, right? Very bullish in the U.S. indices. We are through a red folder news event. We don't have much news coming up today. Let's just do a quick double check. Take a look at forexfactory.com, my favorite news site. Yeah, we don't have much news for the rest of the week. You could look at Financial Juice, you could look at Market Watch, you could look at whatever you want to look at. This is forexfactory.com, financial news site. I'm not partnered or affiliated with them, but they provide data releases, right? Scheduled data releases, information. If you click on them, a little bit more about it, history, if it's a rate, things like that. So not a lot of news, right? So I think we could see, not giveaway time yet, guys. I think we could see the market make a decision here, right? Are we just going to start to sell off now? Is that it? Is that all we wanted to do? Are we ready to put highs in? And this is just a pullback to take everybody out, fake everybody out to the downside one more time. And we are going to push to the upside. Are we going to chop? Are we kind of indecisive here? Again, I stay flexible coming into the open while maintaining some context of what's going on higher time frames, the news cycle, all the little outside factors outside of the technicals themselves. So, again, looking for potential longs if we crack to the downside for that first initial reversion trade. If we pop to the upside, I'm going to be looking short. Overall, guys, this is a bearish open, right? If we take a look at where we're opening up relative to prior day, right, which is a common way that the volume profile is used and the way that I do come into the open, right, looking at context. What did we do in the overnight session? What's the higher time frame trend, right? What have we done over the last few weeks? What have we done over this week? What have we done in the overnight session? And then where are we opening up relative to yesterday's volume profile, yesterday's candle, right? Well, right now we have already broken yesterday's low. We are getting close to opening up below yesterday's low. So we're below volume point of control, below value area low. This is a bearish open down below VWAP, right? Indicating we could see some bearish momentum, right? Showing weakness coming into the day. I don't mind a short. All the way up above pre-market Asia London high, which would be this level right here, 47,930s, right? That would be up into prior day's value area low. Not quite volume point of control, which is way up near the high. If we make it all the way back up there after sweeping the low, I think that we're just going to blast off, and I'm probably not looking short up here at all. In fact, I would have hoped to have found my way into maybe a continuation long, from somewhere lower. I definitely don't mind a buy, right? Even though we are opening up bearish, I don't mind a buy from down here because I think we could really be picking up some liquidity down into some volume for last week, closing this gap, and at least catch a bounce, even if we aren't going to come all the way down and just sell off or come all the way back up. I think we could easily catch a bounce back towards VWAP, back towards prior day value area low. Some areas of consolidation in here from yesterday where we settled yesterday, put a lot of trading in down here. That's my thesis. It's my thesis coming into the open, guys. As always, I'll apply my discretion. I'll read my favorite order flow tool over here, Bookmap, which is showing some weakness on ES. Pretty flat on CVD and pretty thick on Bookmap. We got a lot to the downside here. We got a lot to the downside if we want to head lower. These are resting buy orders on the book, live liquidity, right? Areas on the chart, right? Price levels that have higher quantities of orders resting relative to what's on the chart today. That's how I would start to define liquidity. Not the smart money liquidity sweep and talking about liquidity pools. Like, we have no idea what we're talking about if you're not using order flow or volume to any degree. Not to piss everybody off on here. All right. Let's see, guys. Let's see. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. Good morning, Chef Trades. Morning, guys. Let's go. Been a minute. Good morning. Hope everybody is healthy and happy today. Good luck. Rhombus, what's up? Chuck, what's up? Nate, what's up, bro? Mr. Weber, what's happening? Omega, what's going on? Wolf, back in action. What's up? What's up? Somebody send the invite. I don't know what you're looking at there, brother. But Ivan, there. If you're talking about the Discord is pinned to the top. I'll throw it in chat again. 100% free trading Discord, free community. No course, no VIP, no upsell. If you can't get in from that for some reason your country is banned by WAP or whatever it is, just shoot me an email. There is my email, support@realdealfutures.com. I'll send you a personal invite link. But I run through WAP, so I get everybody's emails, and I can hit you up and say, hey, hop on the live sessions like I did yesterday. We're giving out accounts. And also to prevent scammers. If it's just an open invite link, it's just insane the amount of impersonators and scammers that I get. And I still get them coming through on WAP. What's up? Tried to short the NQ in London session. Got third or fourth, even fifth degree burns. It eventually fell. Yeah, NQ's a monster. Good morning, King of Futures. Yeah, definitely not the King of Futures, but I'll take it. Good morning, my brother. I'm too humble for that. It's all good. October burnt me after taking some nice payouts into September. Bro, that's how it goes. Nate, man, you've made a ton of progress, and not to turn it into a whole thing. What's going on, my brother? What's up, Nate? Not to turn it into, too specific for you, man, but that's how it goes, right? There's ebbs and flows. Trading is super non-linear, and it's so hard to handle when you're just starting out. It really is, and this is just speaking from me. But, you start to gain progress, and then, you have that flat period. You have a period where, you lose some money, you lose some accounts, and you start to question, does my edge even work? Did I ever know how to trade? Was I ever actually getting profitable? And chances are, yeah, you're just continuing to improve, but you're going to have red weeks and red months. Majority of traders that I know, not everybody, because there's some effing heavy hitters out there that are just unbelievably consistent. But majority of traders that I know end up with multiple red months per year, including myself, including that flat months, but then also your nice green months, right? And your goal at the end of the year is to make sure that you had more green days, weeks, months, right? And larger green days, weeks, months, if not more. Some combination of win rate and risk to reward that provides an edge of the market. But it can be tough, man. And I call it the ebbs and flows. I've heard a lot of people say that. It's very non-linear, and it's something so difficult to deal with, right? It's just the mindset and psychology piece that the market's very random on the short term, and we have a random distribution of wins and losses for any set of variables that define an edge. That's Mark Douglas. I read that line, and I was like, that was the deal, right? And it comes down to flip a coin, okay? It's going to be 50-50 over a zillion flips, right? Essentially an infinite number of coin flips, but you don't know what's going to happen on the next 3 or 4 or 5. I really encourage you, go and get a quarter and flip it and watch how many times in a row heads or tails will come up. It'll blow your mind. It really will. I used to do it just to really hammer my brain with the game of probabilities that I was playing. I really did, as elementary as that sounds. But that's how this stuff goes, man. So, I look at my trading and that's honestly how it goes for me, right? I've taken multiple payouts every week this month, every single week. And I've had months where I've taken 0 payouts and lost money and lost accounts and bought accounts and lost money, right? Just overall. Okay. Same thing with live accounts, right? I'll have time, especially with investment brokerages and, periods where you're really heavily weighted into the U.S. stock market. We get a gnarly correction. You're going to see some red, man, some serious red. When everything's ripping through all-time highs, you feel like a genius, right? And you're putting big % returns in. The same is true with prop trading. I think you want to strive for consistency. You don't want to be burning accounts all over the place and then putting up profit here when you get lucky, right? But as a whole, the market's not going to agree with you all the time, man. Your edge is not going to play out nicely all of the time. You're going to have periods where your edge, whatever the way that you're trading, is really agreeing with the market, and combination, you're doing really well. You're executing really well. You're managing risk really well. You're trading fearlessly, but without being reckless. And you have to try to capitalize on those times And when you're not trading well, you're not executing well, you're out of pocket for a number of reasons, but potentially the market is just not doing what you need it to do to make money, you got to be defensive. You got to play good defense. You have to not give up everything that you just made. But that's the game that we're playing here, man. It's not all roses and rainbows. It's not all no L's. Again, I'm only speaking for myself here because there's some hitters out there, man. There's some crazy hitters out there, and I would love to have their type of results, but I don't see majority of traders that have those types of results. Majority have nice big green months and weeks that carry them through the flat and break even and then losing weeks and months. That's how this game goes. So and it's different for everybody. So try to play good defense when you're off and the market's not agreeing with you, and try to really stay in the pocket when you're in the pocket and the market is agreeing with you. But expect those to come, right? Expect the losing streaks to come, right? And think about how you're going to handle showing up day after day after day after taking L's, right? Specifically this week is super boring for me. I've had 2 break-even trades in this live account. That's it. That's the whole week. Super exciting. Overall, month's good. I've taken some payouts in some other accounts, but that's how it goes, right? That's how it goes. Your job is not to win every single trade every single day. In fact, if you're trying to do that, the only thing you're going to guarantee is loss, because it's impossible to do that, in my opinion. So anyway, just think about that. Think about that. That's that's the tough part of this game, and you don't want to accept it. Beginners have no idea. I can always see when somebody is just not experienced enough in the market, because they expect that. They don't expect losses. They don't expect losing streaks. They don't expect, drawdown. And that's part of trading. That's part of trading. How can you manage yourself when you're taking L's, right? And again, watching it play out for some of the traders that I was trading live with, watching them get hammered, and me being inexperienced, I'd be watching these guys, and I'd be like, this dude sucks. He's off. He's lost it. Maybe he was good, but this is trash. I don't know what this is. Like, he's lost for like 3 weeks in a row. What's going on? And then, you check in a month down the road, 2 months down the road, end of the year, and the MFR is up like, $1 million. And I'm like, wait a minute. What happened? Did everything change? How did it happen? That's just normal part of it, right? And, nobody's stoked to take losses. They're going to try to adjust, try to adapt, try to play defense, right? But it's part of it, dude. It's part of it. I'll tell you one of the clearest ones for me. I was in Tom Hogarth's. I was watching Tom Hogarth trade live. If you don't know, he trades live through like Telegram and different stuff. He's gone back and forth with different stuff. The dude's made tons and tons and tons of money and continues to. But I watched him get hammered, man, day after day after day, and there was a point where I was like, I don't know, man. This is crazy. I don't know about this. And then, of course, what happens? He trades through that, gnarly losing period of giving up money, taking L's, break even, right? Or not doing much, into a month where the market's agreeing with him. He's executing really well, and it's a banger back to back to back to back. It's not always so extreme, but this is the reality of trading. So anyway, I went on a rant here, guys, but I hope that helps. I hope that helps. What's going on, guys? Yeah, we talked about that. What's up? Pam, good morning. What's happening? Ivan, what's happening? Trader Julie K, good morning. I've had red weeks. Yeah. Expect to have more of them. and red months. Majority of traders will have break even in red months. It's just the truth. We are primed on social media and from majority of traders to only get the highlight reel. And what we often see is this big green P&L calendar where it's 30 days in a row of green, okay? That is 110% unrealistic for 99.99% of traders. That's my humble, biased opinion. That's my opinion. Maybe you say, Zach, you just suck. That's unrealistic for you. That's what I want. I don't think that's realistic for most traders. The only way that I see traders doing that is they are risking ruin every single day. They're operating with a huge risk, negative risk to reward, and a beautiful win rate. But what happens if you trade like that, which you can with prop firms and even with live accounts, but what happens when you trade like that is there's one red day and then that P&L calendar is over because that one red day is the entire account. And I've seen some guys share that. I'm talking 5-figure losses, almost 6-figure losses after just straight green, right? Because that's the reality. They're having huge P&L swings every day. They're coming out small green with a massive amount of risk on the line. It's worth noting. Got a little overconfident. Yep. Got to stay down the middle. Working on consistency. Yep. Zach and SFX have something going on. Yeah. Nate knows about the Tampa event. Nate knows about the Tampa event. If you guys don't know, as Marcus getting ready to open up, since we're talking about it, going to be in Tampa with ASFX this year. 2-day event in person. You guys can check out tickets on this one. Going to be sick. Working on 2 50Ks, 150K combine. I have 1 XFA on reserve. Opening that once I pass these two. Like always, having reserves helps my psychology. Absolutely. Helps my psychology like crazy. Challenge myself with 150K. Yeah. To speak to Nate's point, he's talking about putting accounts on backup. The same as, trading small in live accounts, right, with a large balance. It just helps your psychology massively. I would encourage everybody to do that. If your back is against the wall and you have one account and you can't lose it, you're going to lose it probably. I hate to say that, but morning, JB. Rhombus always helps. I've had my share of red months, but all good. Part of the business. Yep. Opinion, yes, but from experience. Yep. Zach, why are you picking on poor old me, Zach? And one loss and the account's gone. Nah. Well, listen, man, everybody trades differently. And if that's part of your risk management, right? If you're going to trade very aggressively, that's part of it. But I think it's important. And I lost 1K yesterday. Yeah. I might lose 1K today. That's probably going to be the risk that I put on this live account. I've lost a whole lot more than that in live accounts. Part of mindset and psychology, guys. Part of mindset and psychology is expectations, right? And an understanding and clear expectations, right? And how you are going to act in relation to those expectations. And if you expect to make money every day in the market, and you don't expect to take losses, and you don't expect drawdown, you don't expect losing weeks and losing months, you are priming yourself for absolute emotional and execution ruin. You are priming yourself to fail, to really fail, because when the unexpected happens that you're not prepared for, you haven't planned for, you can't handle it. You're going to act completely out of pocket, right? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Plan for the drawdown. Plan for the losses. How are you going to handle that? That's my thought. It's my thought. And it's just a huge piece of the problem for so many. And again, I don't like to be dreary on here or not fun or, not be hyping up. Market's opening up. I want to see if we crack to the downside, guys. Again, I'm looking long off of that Friday volume point of control to the left-hand side of that chart, filling this gap. We might pop right back up through VWAP. I'd be looking short above above pre-market high for those of you that hopped on late. But yeah, I try to do what I can for expectations. I of course, right? I hype myself up. I talk about payouts. I talk about taking wins, right? I try to share all that, but I also like to hop on here and talk about the reality, right? Talk about the losses. Talk about not being green every single day. Not never taking losses. So, all right, we are opening up here, guys, on everything. It's NYSE open. Again, I was looking for a potential move down around this area. First area of interest, little gray chart, right? Little gray box right there. Area of interest for a short up here. I do have my eye all the way down here. If we start to break through this level really aggressively, off of these highs, off of this volume, which is not loading right now, through this low volume area into this high volume area, obvious level of structure right here. Looks like we want to go and test VWAP, and it's not going to give me the short first. No, excuse me, not going to give me the long first. Let's see what the market's got for us. Good luck, everybody. I really don't like to say good luck. You shouldn't need luck. Trade well. Structure your risk. Stick to your plan, whatever your plan is, right? Stick to your trade management. Stick to your risk. Be ready to lose whatever amount of money that you put on the line, happily and confidently. Part of the game, man. Part of the game, like we're talking about. Yeah, we're getting the pop back to VWAP here, guys. I'm going to look to fade this. So, again, this is our, nice move right back up to VWAP immediately off of the open. Long down here for me. Not really a great play with this right below. But we did get that pop right back to VWAP. Now, if we get a little bit higher, I might look to fade this. I think this could be a play right off of VWAP here, but this just does not give me a way to structure risk. I do not want to stop right above pre-market session highs right here, current session highs. Maybe right here off of value area low, like right up into this consolidation right here for a short. But I'm looking at this like we want to go fill that gap to the downside. Call me crazy, right? Call me, an idiot for looking short, but I'm gonna look short right off of this level. It's more aggressive than above this pre-market high level. I would go stop outside of this. Yeah, I might drop to minis, guys. Sorry, I'm gonna move quick on this. I might drop to minis on this. And excuse my dog barking. I might drop to minis on this so I can structure my risk with a wider stop. Yeah, guys, I got to give this a second so I can get up here. But I like this short. I like this aggressively short. I have to have a stop outside of this level by 30, 40, 50 points. I really do. And taking it from down here would require a really big stop. But I think we go on this. Oh, man. I might do it with minis. Just gonna watch this on my my micros. I'm gonna trade less than one mini, probably like like 5 or 7 micros. I just wanted to get a little bit more of a pop up, but I think this thing's going to go. YM, man. YM. I'm taking this, guys. I'm taking this from down here. I like this thing short. I like this thing short. I think we're going to, I don't think we're going to see a retest of this, this overnight session high. If we do, I'm just being too aggressive with it. I'm dropping to 6 micros, short from 47, 716. I really want to see this thing go quickly, to the downside. This is a raw chart. Well, now it's a raw chart. I could do some markup on this, but I'm running a stupid wide stop loss. Very, very wide outside of this area. Because I think if this thing starts to sell off, I'm going to look for it past this gap down here to the downside. And that could still present a nice W for me. I also just want a lot of room. Like, if I'm dead wrong and we start to blast up here, you know, maybe I find my way out of this thing. Probably could have went with 7 and come a little bit tighter on this. Just do a little bit of measuring here. But I am short from 47, 716 here. Been short in this market all week and it hasn't been working for me, but I'm going to take my trades as they come. Yeah, I'm going to go stop into the 800s. 48, 012, somewhere around there. 888 bucks worth of risk. But I want to see this. I want to see this to the downside. I want to see this come down, trade through this pretty aggressively, and maybe we see some gnarly selling pressure. Taking a look at the other U.S. indices, gnarly selling pressure out of NQ, heavy selling pressure out of ES, down below prior day lows, headed towards this gap right now. We'll see if we get it in YM. Interesting to see that out of those two, really, really aggressively selling off as YM is living in his own world, pushing to the upside, Again, was looking long on this if we sold off really aggressively, right? But was okay looking short if we popped to the upside. The way that we popped to the upside right to VWAP and started selling back off here, quite a bit of volume getting traded right here, near value area low from prior day, which is not marked on this chart because now I'm back on the micro chart. I'm comfortable putting risk on from a lower point here, giving this thing a lot of room to breathe. If we have to come up here, I'm still alive. But I don't want to miss the sell-off really, really aggressively. So I want to fade that initial movement, right? Fade that initial drive. If we blast higher right off of the open, do I think that we do this? No. I think that I'm just dead wrong, right? Do I think that we do this? No. That would be, we can. That would be really gnarly, a really, really gnarly movement. So I'm looking at a nice crack above VWAP. 60 points for potential reversion back down. That's going to be my trade for the day. And again, I've dropped 2 micros here to widen out. This has been a pretty volatile market. I'm running a very wide stop on this. I'm not really reducing risk much, 120 bucks or so, 110 bucks. But I'm giving this thing more room to breathe, and I'm entering lower, right? So I got to run a wider stop. And just allow the thing room to move, right? That's my play for now, guys. We're going to see what we get out of this. Going to see what we get out of this. Trevor says, good morning. Great podcast with Austin. Appreciate you, Trevor. Thanks, bro. Appreciate you. If you guys missed that, I got a new pod out with Austin, ASFX. Just holding on to the accounts out, the Unite accounts I won. Nice. Morning, Aaron. What's up? Morning, Daily Tail. What's up? Nate, man. Don't sleep. Don't sleep on the ticket, man. I'm not going to put pressure on you, but you probably got a little bit of time, but I would not wait on the tickets for sure. Got short on the break of overnight low on ES. Looking for a pretty big move down today. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. This could go either way. We could definitely turn this into a big bullish day. We could just be taking out prior day low before ripping back up. Maybe it's volume point of control from prior day. That's untested up here. If I look at the mini chart, right here's actually my marked up chart. We could be popping back up to the upside, but I like it right down here. I like it to right down here. We're going to see. We're going to see if more patience would have paid on this one from me. But, again, we start coming up above this high. I'm wrong. We are not getting a rejection from down here. And YM is just holding way stronger after sweeping some lows. But I am on the micro chart right now. On the micro chart. Because I'm very wide trading the 15-minute chart. And I'm comfortable with that because I think we got room to the downside. I think we got plenty of room to the downside. Even looking at... Let me pull up some daily ranges for Edgeful. Nope. Continuing this drive higher off the rip. Let's see. Let's see if I'm just too aggressive on this one today. YM average daily range. It's not loading for me, but it's pretty wide, man. I think we got room. I think we got plenty of room. As we are just driving higher, looks like we want that. Looks like we want that overnight session high. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get something to load here. Trying to get something to load here. It's a session range report. That's what we got going on. Session range report. Yeah. We're fixing to find out, chat. We're fixing to find out. Anyway, did not get a rejection at all down here. Looking like quite a bit more patience coming off of value area low would have provided a much nicer entry for me. We are testing that right now. I wanted it more aggressively off of VWAP as we started to find some sellers right there, but this could be a gnarly move to the upside, even with me running a really wide stop. Might not be able to survive this one. Might not be able to survive this one. Halfway there, no rejection off of VWAP after we started to dance around here, come back down, find some sellers. Again, wanted that aggressive reversion play. Crack back up to VWAP and then selling off to the downside, filling this gap here. Not doing it. Just not doing it. Not going to clip this one at all, guys. If something rockets to my stop loss, there's no trade management to be done. It's put the invalidation point on the chart. Why did that change? Let's put the invalidation point on the chart and let it rip. Let it rip. We start to form more structure. We come back down. We test it. We fail to move lower. We get around the low. We come back up. You know, maybe I look at managing. But so far, it's hanging on to it for the short, which ain't paying at all. Big reversion out of this one, man. Big reversion out of this one. We'll see. We will see. I'm on the wrong U.S. indice all week here. NQ sold off super aggressively. Got 900 ticks below VWAP. ES really aggressively to the downside as well. 150 ticks below VWAP. Both of those pulling back in right now, but YM just straight shot to the upside and pulling way higher. Looking like we're going to grab this overnight session high, this Asia-London high right here. See if we can get a reversion here, but this one, to be honest, guys, feels like the very aggressive quick stop out. And like I talked about earlier, looks like it's going to be that week. Looks like it might be the red week for me. I've had no trade, 2 break even, really 2 trades that did not work out at all for me. And I just ran out of time and happened to be near break even. Got out before FOMC yesterday, before end of the day before, and it doesn't look like I'm going to be as lucky as I was on those 2. This is just a ton of bullish movement out of this. I'm taking this trade. I'm going to say 8 out of 10 days. Maybe I'm a little bit more conservative on another day up here. Maybe I'm way more conservative on another day up here. But this just ain't it. Ain't it. It's going to be a one and done too. I'm not going to put more risk on. If I take this L, that's going to be it for me, at least in this account. I'll get some trading in on the side accounts, but it's going to be a one and done. I'm not going to take on more risk than this. I also don't really have another trade that would set up really quickly. Maybe a continuation trade to the upside to come all the way through the highs if we pulled all the way back down and then came back up. But I definitely don't have another short from up here at all, and I don't have a long on a big push to the upside like this. So might be one of those very frustrating, very quick stop outs. Obviously, no rejection off of VWAP, no rejection off of value area low, continuing to push higher. Maybe just all the way up into like the hundreds for yesterday's volume point of control before a reversion and an insane push back down. We'll see. Currently trading above overnight highs, forming a nice bullish candle on the daily right now. But we're going to have to wait and see on this one. I laugh about it because it's part of the game, man. It happens. I don't have them too often where I get my absolute face ripped off and we just blast through a stop loss, but that looks like what I'm in for today. That looks like what I am in for today. Not dead yet, as they see, but very little faith in this one. Very little faith. Let's go ahead and throw some music on here. Let's see. Good morning. Good morning. Overnight on MES took out yesterday's high, but who knows? Maybe reverse and rip back up. Target 68.30. Nice. Morning, Juan. What's happening? YM in its own world. NQ and ES dumped at the open. Yep. It's part of the game, chat. I'm on here trading live. I'm going to show you guys the L's. The gnarly L's. Yuck. Yuck on this one. Oh, man. No rejection whatsoever. Are we going to form a huge bullish day? Are we going to come back down on this? I'm sure we pull some crazy aggressive movement, but again, no trade management for this, just to talk through it. You know, there's no clip in this one early on something that just rockets to a stop loss. You know, you might just want your stop loss in a different area. And for me, this is going to be one and done. This would be it. No follow up on this. I'm comfortable taking on a little more than $1,000 worth of risk, you know, maybe on the $2,000 high end. But I'm not going to give myself a second setup on this. Nope. Not today. Not today, chat. Ugly one, man. I haven't had a really ugly one in a while, and this one is hella ugly. Glad I dropped to micros and widened out because I would have been cooked way earlier, but this looks like it. This looks like it. Huge drive off the open in one direction. We opened up with a 286 point candle, followed by another 200-point candle to the upside, trading from below prior day low to almost 100 points above current session highs. Gnarly, man. Really gnarly push out of YM here. Really gnarly push out of YM. In by the skin of my teeth. Terrible spot to end with a stop loss right above this high. Again, like I said, as we started to come up, very little faith in this one, but I stick to my trade management, which is, you know, if I put a stop loss in, right? If I put a stop loss in and we rocket to that area, what would I be doing outside of just clipping below the invalidation level, right? That's the way that I think about it. If I have, and I find myself on YM here holding all the way to the stop more frequently than not. If I have more structure, something happens back and forth, it moves into profit, moves into loss, moves into profit, we start making higher lows to the upside. Maybe I have a way to structure risk and cut a losing trade early, cut it fast, but not on something like this. Not on something like this. What an insane drive higher. Let's see. What did NQ and ES do? NQ, yep, drove way higher back to VWAP, but first sold off at the open. Looks like YM was the indicator leading the other two today. Not that I trade with correlations on these. Not that I try to look at what the other ones are doing. I do look at ES Bookmap. Because I'm coming off of trading ES exclusively and utilizing Bookmap. Just comfortable with that one. But we got a sweep of lows and a big drive higher on both of these. Not nearly as aggressive as YM. ES is just back above VWAP right now. Still red on the day. NQ still red on the day, 0.5%. Still under VWAP. And YM here, 300 points above VWAP. Living in its own world. Living in its own world. I don't know, man. I gotta be honest, guys. I still think we might come down on this. I think this might be a gnarly shakeout, and I got involved way too aggressively on this today, right? On another day, maybe maybe I'm either a little bit more conservative or we just test VWAP and sell off. But I got a feeling that I take this stop, that NQ and ES pop higher, and then turn to the downside really aggressively. Conversely, we could absolutely just be cleaning out longs and then popping higher. And we're just going to go through the highs, right? Came all the way down, challenged this area, faked everybody out short. We're not going to go and fill this gap. We're just going to drive higher and continue to blast off here. And me getting short 3 times this week has finally ended in an L, and I'm not going to find my way out at break even. Easily could be that, and I'm just way too quick on the draw. There it is. There's the stop. A gnarly one, man. Gnarly push higher. Part of the game. Not going to be all W's, but that one's going to need a little bit of review. I will say I would have liked to stay just a little bit more conservative, and at very least take it off of prior day's value area low, if not all the way above session highs, right? That would still be looking terrible. It would still be looking like, this is going to move against me. But something with a super duper wide stop, super duper wide target, like I had, would have probably kept me in a little bit longer. Maybe even something right above session highs like that. But that's the L, guys. That's going to be the L for me. Hopped on super early to get this one done. And not going to take a follow-up in this one. I can tell you right now. Not going to take a follow-up in the live account. Unfortunate, man. Would have liked to keep it rolling on this, but 2 break-evens short, and finally the L. Unfortunately, all I got to be doing is hitting the long button and the buy button, and not finding a clean way to do that. NQ just not playing nice with me off the... NQ. YM just not playing nice with me off the open right now. For the rest of this session, man, I'm interested. I think we come back down at some point. I think we come back down towards VWAP. Gnarly buying pressure. A little too aggressive on this one. A little too aggressive. Not a bad short play overall for me. Off of VWAP, near VWAP, down below value area low. A little bit more aggressive than I would have liked on this, but we'll see. We'll see where we go from here. Dead wrong on the reversion from VWAP, on a reversion from above overnight session highs. We're trading 100 points above that and not giving up steam just yet. Tough one, man. Tough one. But let's see where we go from here. Aggressive move off the open. Do we come right back through highs, right? Do we start putting higher lows in and just blast through highs again, and we keep pushing this market higher? We're going to erase that sell-off from yesterday right back up to the highs, and that's going to be it. Am I going to take an insane stop and watch this thing sell off on a huge dump today? That would be incredibly frustrating with such a wide stop to not be able to survive it. But it certainly could be in play. ES opening up very bearish. NQ and a test of VWAP. These could easily form a huge down day today, and it just be a big sell-off at the open, test of VWAP, and a beautiful short play. I'm sure a lot of the ASFX boys are looking at this thing short from VWAP, maybe on a crack back down below New York VWAP. We'll have to see, but this one is just gnarly so far. Let's see. When you saw VWAP break bullish, why would you not get out? Because I'm fine with YM trading significantly above VWAP. I find that YM pulls very, very aggressive, impulsive moves. And if we break and close above VWAP, completely fine. Not an invalidation point right here. If I wanted to do that, this would be my position, right? And that's just not how I trade. Not how I trade. Great to be transparent. Yeah, bro. Listen, live trading on here. That's it. I just posted a reel about it. This is the only way you can show what what you know or don't know, right? There's no faking executions on here. There's no faking anything. It's live. Gonna see wins, losses, everything in between. Project X bugged out with VWAP. Need to zoom out and adjust it. Yeah, it does. It does. If you wait for session highs, do you think you might have talked yourself out of it by then. No. If I waited for session highs, I would be in short. I'd be in short up here. A little bit aggressive on this one. But that's the discretion piece of it, right? These are frustrating. Yesterday's shot was so frustrating to watch before the dump on YM. Yep. When you zoom in and out, taking more charts. Yeah. Project X is definitely bugged out on VWAP. Looking for a spot to get in short if we can close below overnight high. How do you recover from that? Will you hold all day and hope it's a sharp 6 flag drop somewhere during the day, or do you lose a K and move on? Dr. FP, if you're asking me, I don't take into consideration the last trade, or at least I try not to, right? If I'm going to take a follow-up trade, you don't want to just be holding the bias and want to be right on the first trade, because you find yourself just jumping in again right when you get stopped out, not wanting to miss the movement. You just have to accept that trade idea, whatever it was, didn't work out or generated a loss, and then move on to the next one. Whatever edge presents itself for you. Does anyone else find Bookmap subscription incredibly confusing? It is. It is incredibly confusing. We'll talk about Bookmap. In a little bit. We'll have to see. So helpful. Yeah, man. Part of it. I'm not going to go anywhere just yet, guys. I got to watch this play out. First off, it's only 10 a.m. into the open. Just because I took an L doesn't mean we're done here. But I got to see how this one plays out. I'm interested, man. Do we chop up here? Do we just not take our foot off the gas? Or do we sell harshly back off from VWAP? Again, this is still a short play. Like I talked about, my review on this one is being a little bit more conservative, waiting for an area that I had marked out, and running a really wide stop would have generated a much better entry on a day like today. But part of exercising some discretion, right? On another day, we don't do what we did. On another day, I'm waiting for this zone to be taken out, and we sell. We buy right back up to VWAP, and we catch sellers right here like I was anticipating, and we dump. But I got to watch how this one plays out from here. Have to. And I got to say it, gun to my head, I think we come down. Through these lows. I think ES and NQ roll over near VWAP, and we rip lower. And it's going to be a frustrating one to watch, but it's part of it. I run wide stops, and I often survive gnarly movements to the upside, giving the trade a lot of room to breathe. But there's going to be days when I don't. There's definitely going to be days when I don't. Oh, what's up, Kick? I missed you guys talking about Kick. What's happening? Good morning. Summer was tough for me. Wow, what a slapper. Slapping my $500 short. I can ruin it all for us and get long. It'll dump. That's funny. Listen to you on AFSX podcast and got me on your stream. Really into Bookmap. Appreciate you. I like how you said do the opposite of CBD. I've been doing that and killing it. Yeah. Yep. It's all just finding what tools work for you, right? What patterns you can identify, what's going to work nice for you. But I'll be right back, guys. I'm not going anywhere just yet. I'm going to watch to see if this one is a gnarly stop out and then a turn back down to the downside. I think it might be. I really do think it might be. Let's see. Be right back. Ooh, there we go. Back in action, chat. Let's see. Let's see what this insane market's got for me today. So far an L. So far an L on this one. Chopping up here, man. Chopping up here at the 48,000 evens after stopping me out just a couple of points above price. Right through the highs? Right through the highs? All right, let's talk about Bookmap. You guys were asking about Bookmap, talking about CVD. Here's the deal, guys. Bookmap has 3 subscriptions. Let's see. Let's pull up Bookmap. Bookmap has 3 or 4? That's 4 subscriptions. Okay. Digital, free, digital plus, global, and global plus. The only 2 that are going to get you something that looks like this, in my opinion, are global and global plus. Global plus is not a big difference. Global, you get the heat map, you get the DOM, you get the current order book, you get the volume tools. Global plus, you get a whole bunch of extra add-ons, a whole bunch of different things that you may or may not want to use. So you pick either one of those subscriptions, and then let me throw this in the chat so you guys can head right to it if you want to. Also, disclaimer, I'm partnered and affiliated with Bookmap. I stand to make money from this link. If you guys want to check it out, this is going to give you the best discount. You can get 3 months of Global Plus for $147 with that discount. So you pick Global or Global Plus, and then you also need, just like any order flow tool, a subscription to Level 2 data, okay? You need a subscription to Level 2 data from Rhythmic, Bookmap, DXFeed, whoever you want. Level 2 data, right, is going to give you full depth of market, all of the orders on the book. You would need that for any DOM that you would run, right? Any order flow tool that you would run. So Bookmap itself is a subscription, and then Level 2 data is its own subscription. If you guys have questions on that, feel free to let me know. But link is in the chat, and there it is right there. 3 months Global Plus for $147 if you guys want to check that out. I find Bookmap helpful for the most part. You may or may not. It's definitely not a magic tool. It's nothing that's going to make or break turning you into a profitable trader. But I do like it. I do find it helpful. But yeah, that deal, that link brings you right to the checkout page, which is kind of annoying. It just brings you like right to the place where you would check out. You can go to the main page. You could do your research. But that one, somewhere in there, is going to give you an option for 3 months of Global Plus for $147. Also, and nothing to do with my link or code or anything, you can get Bookmap data for a discount when you first get started out for Level 2 data if you don't have a Level 2 data feed. But it can be a little bit confusing to hear that kind of stuff. You need a subscription to this, a subscription to that. But that's kind of how it works with most order flow platforms. It's a paid subscription to whatever platform you're going to use, and then a paid subscription to Level 2 data. Got some orders on the book for YM here, huh? Growing cumulative volume delta, although the CVD on YM doesn't really change too much. ES holding negative today is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting to watch. Cumulative volume delta is the difference between buy and sell volume, right? It's just how it sounds. Anchored to a specific point in time. Anchored to a specific point in time. Mine is going to be anchored in pre-market. This is interesting. Yeah, YM not taking his foot off the gas yet, though. Not at all. If you guys missed it, I'm 1L in here on my top 1 futures pre-live 15K. I've been taking payouts as soon as they've been available in this account. Testing some payout speeds, being able to talk about that progress. I'd like to start to scale this bad boy up. I'm not going to do that taking $900 L's, but that's part of the game. Part of the game. Yeah, man, we're loving this 48,000 evens. Ah, my bad, guys. I muted myself. Sorry. I accidentally muted myself. That happens. That happens. It also shows you I don't stare at the chat while I'm live nonstop. Because you guys all commented. Thanks, guys. Welcome back, everybody. Yeah. Anyway, guys, I want to watch what happens up here. I'm not going to take another one in this account. I've got other accounts loaded up. Other prop accounts. I got the live account always ready to rock, but I can't stomach taking this up here now. I really just have to watch, and the journal entry is going to be, two things. You're dead wrong getting, applying some discretion and getting aggressively short, a little bit more aggressively short than I might on another day. But the play up here, right? Here's the more standard play, right above overnight session high, with a wide stop loss. Around that 200 points been pretty standard for me if I'm trading minis. But let's say I did run something wide. I'd have to go back and see, what my actual stop was. What does this look like? Does this also fail? Is this just a huge drive higher? No short was going to work. No reversion play. We're not even going down to sniff VWAP. We're just going to drive straight through the highs. Or am I going to have a journal entry that reads, you got aggressively short in here, right? And got stopped right here. And had you just been more patient waiting for Asia, London highs to get taken out, maybe not even, not even waiting for any kind of reversion, you would have survived and been able to capture a W. Follow-up trade on this, though, I'm not looking at one. Really not looking at one. At least just yet. At least just yet. Let's see what we get here, chatty chat. Let's see what we get. Damn. Still pushing. Putting session highs in here. Putting the high of day in here on this 15-minute candle. YM looking really strong. Again, living in its own world as usual. No short for me today. No short going to pay for me today. Yeah, guys, hanging tight on this one. Just kind of watching the market now. Again, 1L. Want to see if something else really appetizing sets up. Fading this thing for a huge move to the downside. is a play, but invalidation point up here. This thing is just looking incredibly strong. Bulls not giving up without a fight here at all, and they might not be giving up at all. This just could be YM leading the party higher. We're gonna head right back above prior day high. Getting ready to put initial balance in, right? This is going to be our IB high, or wherever we stop on this 15-minute candle. IB low is going to be down here. Much more likely to break that IB high, and less likely to come back down and break that low if we break that high. And then if we break that high, more likely to extend, right? Some of those stats that I talk about around initial balance, the first 1 hour of the opening range. But this is a gnarly move. This is a really gnarly move out of this. And we got some big stacks of orders on Bookmap up above YM, which is not common. We typically are not seeing over 100 lots on the book. Yeah, I gotta say, it's sad, but my gut is wanting to be short this market. It's sad. It's just a big opportunity is what it is, really. You know, another cheap trade for a huge push to the downside, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep myself out. Dead wrong off the open, 10:30 a.m., consecutive bullish bars. You know, this is objectively showing a lot of strength. I think there's a lot of opportunity to the downside, but I'm not going to step in front of this again. Getting involved up here after we finally started to get some sellers. We started to get a little bit of rejection. We started to consolidate with a stop loss somewhere outside of prior day high. Is, you know, now looking, obviously, hindsight is 2020. It's always easy to be the hindsight trader. You know, doesn't look as bad as a really aggressive short off of VWAP for a continuation lower. But this is past my invalidation point for the first short, significantly higher. It's just it's not acceptable for me to throw this one on right now. I'm gonna have to watch it play out though. Gonna have to watch this one play out. Yeah, strong market, man. Super strong market. Sitting on my hands for now, right now. Sitting on my hands for now, but I want to short so bad. Yeah. Again, like. Ooh, there's the VWAP short paying. Yeah, there's the VWAP short paying. Very nice on ES. Is NQ doing the same? Ooh, that's looking weak. I can't watch these others. I really can't. It's unless you're going to trade that way all the time. You know, if you're going to trade that way all the time between, you know, with correlation, I think it's not going to be healthy to watch them all. If you're going to find something that works, when they're correlated, I do XYZ. When they're not correlated, I do XYZ. Here's how I use this to structure risk, to manage a trade, whatever it is. That's great. But, you know, what happens is I look at that, right? And I'm like, wait a minute. YM's the outlier. The opportunity's way bigger. ES and NQ selling off towards the session low after testing VWAP. That's looking super bearish. I just got a short YM stupid aggressively, and, you know, I'm going to catch an even larger move all the way back through the low of the day. You know, that's not a great way to trade. I mean, you know, again, correlations. You can use whatever you want to use in your trading. I find I end up trading the wrong instrument if I do that. Like I'm genuinely just, I'm trading NQ and ES on YM, or I'm trading ES on NQ, right? That type of move. A lot of traders do use correlation, but I attempt to limit myself with how much information I take in. Let's see. Short NQ. Oh, Zach looking good. What's up? What's going on, guys? 48-100 has high supply. Yeah, we got quite a bit of orders up there. Morning, kids. What's up, Purple Ninja Facts? Hello, Neo. What's happening? I actually raised my stop. I'm holding my first fit my risk tolerance, but I'm not sure it is the brightest move. For the most part, moving your stop loss further away when you're in a losing trade is a death sentence for the most part. I see very few traders take on more risk when they're in a losing trade, consistently being successful with that. It's a very dicey move. For the most part, it's the opposite that you want to do. You want to control risk when you're in a losing trade, right? And then you want to hold on to your winners indefinitely. And it feels better and easier to do the opposite, right? Just hold on to losers, hoping that it comes back. And then as soon as we're in profit, clip the trade. Locked out at the lows today. Been watching the full moves run with no stress other than postpartum FOMO. Nice. The good trade is always the hard trade, as Dr. Paul says. Yep. Man, the emotions on this are unbelievable. Yeah. It's the huge psychological piece, right? But if we're gonna win here, it's gambling, not trading for sure. Yeah. It's the hard piece of this, right? I think it's fun to think about, and it was not fun when I was losing so much, right? But it was interesting to think about, how are you so consistently good? How are so many traders so good consistently at losing money in the markets, right? How are we able to have such a poor win rate and risk reward combo at essentially a 50-50 game, right? At a 50-50 coin flip. Now, we know it's not technically 50-50. Market conditions are not completely random. The market suffers from trends and inertia, right? But technical analysis aside, commissions, fees, spreads, swaps, everything aside, right? Subscriptions, everything, all the costs associated with it. In completely random market conditions, if you entered with a 1-to-1 on a coin flip, you would end up break even. Almost nobody's break even, right? If you're break even, you're probably about to start making money trading, because majority of traders are losing money. The vast majority, not break even. They're losing money. So how is it possible that we are so consistently good at losing money, right? And we're not talking about, well, they're just getting eaten up by spreads and commissions. No, they're blowing account. They're just straight to zero. It's because we're hardwired, in my opinion, to do the exact opposite of the right thing in trading. We're hardwired to do the exact opposite of really what we need to do in trading. And most traders can validate this because of the actions, right? They typically move stop losses farther and farther away when they're in a losing trade. They add to losing trades. They take on more risk when the market's moving against them. They hold on to losses until the account's completely blown. They continue trading after taking losses rather than just stopping. And then what happens when they're in winning trades? They never add. They take profit way before their initial take profit area, right? They don't hold on to winning trades. They clip them early. They clip them at break even. They stop trading out of fear after taking a win, right? And all of these things are flipping on its head what you really need to do, right? So it's not as simple as that, but it could be something to reflect on. It could really be something to reflect on. And it was a tough day and week when, I was trading with somebody who started to say that, and I looked at my results and I was like, if you had flipped, first off, if you had done nothing, you wouldn't have lost money. If you had flipped a coin, you would have been way better off. And if you had just done the exact opposite, right, by way of trade management, not even by entries, but by way of trade management, you'd be making money. It's difficult. It's really difficult to flip that on its head. I acknowledge that 100% for sure. So you have to watch. You have to watch that stuff. Now, overall, we're always going to lose money starting out. You're going to have to pay some tuition to the markets. You have to get some experience, and you're going to make mistakes, and part of it is trial by fire. But if you could recognize some of this stuff early on and stop overcomplicating stuff into oblivion, and realize that it's not the strategy, it's not the edge, it's not the market, it's you. It's you behind the screen. You can make some progress, right? You can review what you're doing. You can try to apply some consistency. And then you could say, hey, where do I need to improve, right? Where do I need to improve? I talked about a couple of areas just looking at my recent data yesterday on YM, attempting to hold winners longer, right? We can never hold our winners for long enough, it feels. Utilizing break even, like I did the last couple days and ended up out at break even. Clipping losers in an area that makes sense. Unfortunately, not at all like a day like today. perfect trade management as far as after entering the trade. The entry is questionable. All right, that's where my review is going to be today. But a trade that starts to rocket against me, I don't close at all. I have an invalidation point in, and if I was going to close as the trade moved against me very quickly, my invalidation point should already be lower. You know, the decision's made at that point. If in a trade where I move into profit, I get really close to a take profit, you know, we hit a key level, we start to form a lot more market structure. We have, you know, some fundamental news, something like that, where now it starts to move against me after a lot more market generated information. Maybe I realize that that smaller L, you know, things like that. But yeah, that's the psychology part of it. Part of the psychology part about it. Been locking out and seeing what I miss. Me by being impatient, it's helping. Absolutely. Prop Station says, so true. I was 30 evals down before first payout. Felt unreal. Yeah, it took me 5 years to get my first payout. Well, there you go. Yeah, hell yeah. I lost money consistently for a long period of time. It was live accounts for me. But I remember specifically that day in my Forex live account after like a straight losing week. It was super gnarly. It was like a Friday afternoon, and I was fully focused at that point on trading, but I was overcomplicating everything, still searching for the holy grail on strategy. And I remember having that conversation, and I looked at my equity curve after having the conversation, where somebody said, imagine you just did everything opposite, right? Imagine you didn't, you know, do all those terrible things that you did. Imagine you just flipped a coin, and it was a straight shot down. It was like no wins. And I was like, man, and there were wins, but they were tiny. I was like, man, this is 100% on you. You are incredibly consistent at losing money. You know, like that's, you know, you have to have that realization to be real with yourself. It's tough. It's tough. TA, Fatal. These are the questions I've talked about where we ignore dumbass questions. Yeah, we're gonna have to see, man. We're gonna have to see. This one is still showing strength. No weakness at all showing up for YM. Coming up to maybe grab some liquidity up here, right? We got the 48 100s with 118 on the book, which is a significant number for YM. Much thinner book, but looks like we want to go and grab that. Maybe the 200s all the way up at near prior day high, but nice round psychological numbers where these are stacked. Yeah, it looks like we want it. We'll see. Do these act as resistance? Do we take these sell orders and then drop? Are we just going to hunt these? And watching ES and NQ, which has been wildly interesting today. What are they doing? Got down around the lows and are kind of chopping around. ES coming back up. Looks like maybe he wants to break back through VWAP. Not an insane amount of direction out of that thing just yet. Pretty volatile on ES. Pretty volatile on ES for the session so far, man. This is pretty back and forth. For sure. Fixing to find out. Back towards volume point of control. Yeah, straight shot to the upside, man. No little bit of consolidation right in here. Little bit of consolidation on the 1 minute chart. There was a little break and retest in here, but overall, looking at the higher time frames that I trade, snapping IB high right here now and extending 10:36 a.m. Eastern. Just a ton of strength, man. Grabbing liquidity, you can see the volume filling on book map here, which is sometimes fun to watch. Do we get a rejection? Do we go right to the 200s? Just a straight shot to the upside is what this looks like. Again, I'm kind of just commenting, guys, and talking through it because I don't have a setup. I don't have a setup to hop right in. I took 1L getting short on this more aggressively than I would have liked, but to be completely honest, this looks like it would have been an L no matter what. Obviously, right? We are how many? We're 550 points. We're over an average daily, average session range to the upside on YM with consecutive bullish bars. Any short would have failed here. So I would have liked to be more conservative and gotten short above this high here. Took it too early, a little bit too early down here today, right? Discretion, but overall, just directionally, not going to play nice with me. Not going to play nice with me. We are. Maybe by the skin of my teeth, I'd be in. Maybe. But that's just straight shot to the upside on YM today. Gnarly, man. That going to be it for the U.S. indices? Are we just going to keep going, running highs? That's the pullback. That's all we're going to do for FOMC, and we're going to run? That's what it's making the case for here. Gnarly. Cooked on this one. Cooked on this one. What assets would you recommend for new futures traders? Anything but YM. Excuse me, anything but NQ. No, I would say whatever you want to go for, right? If I had to say one over anything else, I'd probably say ES, the prop station. Just because it's a little slower moving, it's a little bit easier to structure risk, gives you a little bit more time to think. It's not as damn volatile. There's not so much momentum in it. I think beginners would do better on just an inherently slower moving asset. And I think you get that objectively if you compare them with ES. That said, I don't think it matters because I watch traders trade everything under the sun profitably. And I think it just comes down to preference. It comes down to identifying however you want to trade that specific instrument. But if you were like, I got to start with something I have no idea, maybe ES. Right? It's a U.S. indice. You get to trade the U.S. markets, and it's a little bit calmer than NQ and YM. But again, it just comes down to preference. I don't think there's one best. I think if you like a lot of volatility and momentum in wicks, NQ is very fast moving. YM, also very dramatic, big impulsive movements. ES, a little bit slower. Gold is obviously a hot topic right now. Everybody and their mother wants to trade gold because it's just been on an absolute tear. And now it feels like that everybody hopped over to trade gold. It's going to start chopping around and take everybody out. So we'll see if that lasts. But anything you like. Channel's growing really fast, man. Congratulations, Hamat Designs. Yeah, man. I'm at over 12,000 subscribers on the YouTube. We're ending up with hella. I think yesterday was a record, honestly, for viewership. Hella concurrent viewers, live viewers, man. Way more. Someone asked, how long has Discord been around? Going on a year and a half to 2 years now. Started putting out content February of last year. But yeah, man, it's awesome. I appreciate you guys hopping on. I'm grateful for everybody that's here. I really am. 12,000 here on YouTube, over 12,000. I think we got like 8,000 going on, 9,000 on IG, a few thousand on X, over 2,000 members in the Discord, 2,100 members, something like that in the Discord. It's crazy, man. I appreciate you guys for showing up. It's sick. But yeah, I started putting out content early February of last year. I really was just disorganized with it. It was like IG primarily. I had Telegram at the time. And I started live streaming not too shortly after that. But I started live streaming to a YouTube with 0 subscribers, with 0 viewers. I had to stream to myself. I had to watch my own stream to make sure and ask people to watch my stream to make sure that I was actually live and to stream to one person. And the one person was myself. So, yeah, dude, that's how it goes. That's how everybody starts for the most part. But it's sick, man. It's awesome. It's awesome to have so many people show up every day. Awesome to have the community. It's great. I was in communities, right, when I started this. I was in paid communities. I was in really awesome communities that I was grateful for. And I was hoping to be able to do what I've started to do and build a community. But the growth recently has been rapid, dude. It's been crazy. I was at like 7,000, 8,000 on YouTube. I got millions of views now. Millions, which is absolutely insane. I put out content. Obviously, I crank it out nonstop. I'm here live every single day, 9:15 a.m. Eastern, if you don't know. I throw out long-form YouTube videos, shorts on YouTube, reels on IG, posts on Twitter, right? Streaming across multiple platforms. I run everything free 99. I try to answer a lot of people in Discord. I've definitely been slipping there a little bit. I got no messages between like now and last night in there because I got a lot of DMs across everything, and I'm trying to maintain live streaming really aggressively every day, even hopping on earlier like today. But it's been awesome, man. Really, it's been great. I love doing it. It's challenging at certain times for sure. You got to deal with a lot of hate, a lot of trolls. I've been through all of that type of stuff, but you know, you're confident in who you are and what you're doing, and you know, you don't respect the you don't concern yourself with opinions of people that you don't respect. Is kind of the saying as that goes. But it's been awesome, man. So no, I appreciate that. Appreciate that. You keep it simple, Zach. Putting in the work. You've earned a following. Level of keeping it simple and honesty is amazing. Yeah. Listen, I try to share what works for me, right? Keeping things incredibly simple, right? Keeping things incredibly simple. Recognizing that I don't have some magical crazy edge in the market, and that I'm going to have to continue to improve my discretion, my intuition, my risk management, my psychology, my mindset as a trader through review, through trial by fire, is a big part of what I do. So yeah, no, that was a big turning point for me, keeping things stupidly simple. I watch a lot of traders trade, and over the years, I've watched a lot of traders trade. The best traders that I've seen, the ones that I attempt to emulate, they keep things incredibly simple. Almost a raw chart, very little tools. There's no magic to what they're doing, almost so that it's frustrating because you're like, how the hell are you doing what you're doing? Where's the secret? You got something behind that computer screen. There's some platform that nobody knows about that's telling you when to buy and sell or how long to hold on to your trades. And it's just not the case. It's not the case. And I think that's why so many traders stay stuck for so long in these incredibly overcomplicated, complete BS ways to attempt to trade and to look at the markets. Because we start out as humans, I think, thinking that it has to be that way, right? You can't possibly make money in these markets without something really complex. You can't be a normal person and put the time in and make money. And that's the case. Can you do it quickly? And is it easy? No and no, in my humble opinion. I see outliers. I see them post on social media. I think they usually blow up spectacularly, unfortunately. But I think it's just like anything else. I really do. I think it's an experience and putting the good, hard work in game, right? If you show up every day and you just gamble for no reason, do I think you're going to be a great trader after 3 years? Probably not. But I think it's like anything else. It takes time. And just like anything else, it's very difficult. There's going to be a high-paying career. But if you have belief in yourself and grit and determination, and you're serious about it, you treat it like a business, over time, you improve, you get better. It's the same stuff. Everybody thinks, a lot of people like to call trading a scam. Nobody makes money trading. Look at how many people lose money trading. The barrier for entry for trading is zero, right? So if the barrier for entry for doing open heart surgery was you just have to walk in and pay $50 for a prop surgical account, nobody would make money doing surgery, and the rate of surgery success would be zero, right? You know, which is what we see in trading. I think the question should be, how many people make money trading after 5 to 10 years of hard work, grinding it out every day? I think you would see, and treating it like a business that also have capital, I think you would see that number be significantly higher, right? How many people make trading their first month, make money trading their first month or their first 3 months or their first year? Almost none. And guess what? Almost none make it past that time frame. The life expectancy of a trader is very, very, very low because most people come in with unrealistic expectations, lose money, say this is a scam, nobody makes money doing this, this is a bunch of BS, I'm out, peace, I'm on to something else, this is not what I thought it was. So that's why I talk about it like this. I really do. There's nothing out there, maybe you guys know about something, you could let me know. There's not much out there outside of insane outliers or having doors open to you that the vast majority do not. There's not much out there that in a year you would be making insane money easily. You'd be at the top of the food chain for that career, that profession, that sport. Or even 2 years or 3 years, right? Think into the 5 to 10 year mark, you know. Does that mean you can't start turning a profit earlier than that? Sure, right? But I think you're going to be modest with it, right? You still have to scale. Again, there's outliers. There's outliers, but they're very few and far between. And I've seen a lot, because I'm very active on social media. I've seen a lot, and it's painful to watch, of traders have that big initial boom, and they think they got it all figured out, and it's crazy big wins, and they recognize that that's just part of their journey, but it's not there yet, right? It's just not there yet. So I try to be reasonable with it. I had trash expectations. I was a little bit more mature and a little bit more reasonable than I think many that come to trading are. But this is not a short game. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's often looked at like that. It's often lumped together with all of the other BS that people try to make internet money or Wi-Fi money and all that type of stuff. It's not it, guys. It's just not it. You can make a short amount of money quickly, and then you could lose it all. But it's very difficult to hold on to that. Anybody could pull up any day for a day, a week, a month, and throw on consecutive winning trades and run up a fortune. Can you do that consistently? That's where the hard part comes in. So. Anybody wants to know how to do it quickly, come talk to me. I'll show you how to blow up your account quickly. Yeah. Yeah. Going on 2 years. And I figure I'll be break even by March 26th if I stop playing to emotions. For sure. For sure. If you don't mind asking, who guided you in your journey? Well, I made a YouTube video about it, 2-hint edge. So rather than go through the long list, I made a YouTube. I think it was called like 5 traders that have helped me. This was a while ago. But I made a YouTube video about it. I watched a lot of traders early on, a lot that I would not recommend at all. I'd say a couple big influences earlier on are going to be all of the psychology authors. All of the books that I had read had such a massive influence to point me in the right direction. Tom Hogard, Mark Douglas, Dr. David Paul, who is passed away now also, but was alive when I was watching his videos. Past that, as far as like, I was in a bunch of different communities. One community that I was in he's really not in the futures market at all, would be Nick Sean. He's a Forex trader, was very, a lot of trades live. He's kind of out of his mind. He's hysterical. He's definitely not everybody's cup of tea, but incredibly simple trading strategy, using your discretion, applying your intuition, but keeping trading stupidly simple. I was on his live sessions for quite a while, and I took a lot away from that. And then past that, as of more recent, because I'm a believer that you don't just get it all figured out, right? You continue to learn, you continue to grow. I'm very grateful through live trading, through sharing, over the past couple of years, I have a network of heavy hitters that I talk to on a daily basis, right? Everybody that you see in this picture, and then more, right? It's really awesome to be able to talk with these guys regularly, to watch what they do, the ins and outs, to meet with them in person, to chop it up, and that is a huge help. I would be lying if I said, being around this group right here and another dozen that are not on here, both in person and then, through the internet, right, is not a huge advantage, right? I think that stuff is super helpful. But early on, man, what I would say is find somebody that trades live. If you want to watch somebody, right, find somebody that trades live. Find somebody that preferably for free, but find somebody that trades live, that shows you what they do, because it plays out right in front of you. They try to articulate how and why they do what they do, but you get to watch their trading play out over and over and over again. And then from that person, maybe you find what you like and what you don't like, and you start to craft your own approach. You start to, utilize tools that they use, that other people use, but you create your own approach. And then when it comes to the psychology and mindset side of things, read the books. Read the books, guys. Read the trading and psychology books. Read all of the most popular ones, and then read the unpopular ones, right? I could keep going with traders that influenced me. This is a good question. I can keep going with traders that influenced me that I haven't worked with, directly. I haven't been in their like groups or communities. Al Brooks, Larry Pesavento, Jared Tendler, Steve Ward. Great trading psychology books from the last two for sure. But those are the huge influences in my trading. Not something to do with strategy. It's the fighting the demons, the discipline, the mindset. That's what I would say. But yes, as far as what we're doing here, I would bounce around people that trade live, find people that you want to hang out with while you're trading, while you're trying to craft your own approach, and take from them as much as you can. Learn from what they do, what they don't do, and decide from there. Relaxing said Nick was trading Top Step for a bit. Oh, really? Really? I love Nick Rhombus. Yeah. Nick Sean's the man. Again, it wasn't so applicable to what I was doing here intraday on futures at the time, but I was trading Forex at the time when I came to him, swing trading, more of that stuff. But what I liked about Nick and his approach was, number one, incredibly simple. Like, he roasts every ICT, every concept. He roasts indicator, everything, right? And it was a lot of questions of why you're doing what you're doing, and how is that working out for you, right? But I like, number one, that he traded live every single day. If you're in his community, he trades live every day. It's a paid community, by the way, and it's not cheap. Or at least it wasn't cheap back then for me, or relative to other communities. But trading live every day, getting to watch somebody, getting to pick their brain, watch the drawdowns, watch the wins, watch the the good stuff that works, watch the stuff that doesn't work, and that's super helpful. But being very discretionary and really talking about that, right? Because I had watched other traders. Like I said, I watched Tom Hogarth for a while, and he talks a lot about strategy, talks a lot about the markets, obviously an incredible amount about psychology, but it's difficult to pick up on how much intuition and discretion and subjective interpretation of the markets is being applied, and so that was helpful. But that's interesting to hear. He was trading Top Step. You start playing with the 100K and high trouble. Goes what I mentioned a few days ago. Granular control, risk on FX. These contracts really threw me in the beginning. Yeah, it's different, man. It's different. And I'll tell you this, guys. So check it out. I was trying prop firms, and I had really given it up by the time I was in that community. Forex prop firms. I was like, nobody gets paid out from them, from Forex prop firms. It was crazy. I was getting scammed. And by the time I had left, starting putting out content, I was still trading Forex and CFD prop firms. And I came over to futures, right? And I had some juice at that time. I was making money in Forex live accounts, right? I had started to gain some traction. But I came to trading the US indices intraday in futures, when I look back on it, with too much confidence. Way too much confidence. I thought, oh my gosh, these prop firm accounts, they're so much cheaper. They're so much easier to get a payout, so much quicker. And I came in too hot, way too hot, man. It's different. It is different. Different rules, intraday trailing drawdown, coming from swing trading Forex, to more intraday trading the US indices, which I had started to do. It's different, man. It's definitely different. Yeah, that's cool. Jumped in short. Okay. Dr. Van Tharp Institute really hit home for me. Nice. Somebody said some other book that I missed. My favorite trading book is Mindful Trading by Rand Howell. Nice. Yeah, heard of that one, but I haven't read it. Looking at NQ short also. Yeah, man, good conversation. Again, I'm 1L. I'm 1L on this. Coming through the lows on NQ. Ugh. What happened on YM? Yeah, this is looking weak, guys. It's looking weak. Decision-making time. Decision-making time. Are we going to sell off? Are we going to break lows and continue lower? Are we just going to find a base down here and continue the upside? YM, completely in its own world. Came up to prior day volume point of control, which we often test. Looks like it's going to be a break of the low and then break of the high for a potentially big bullish bar, unless we just absolutely turn to the downside and rip everybody's face off lower here. I don't have a short on this for sure. This is just wildly volatile. Big movement. We finally are starting to find some sellers up here, trying to form one bearish bar on the 15-minute, but I don't think we do at this point. I just don't know that we do. I really don't know that we do. But I'm hanging, guys. Like I said, I have other accounts to trade. I don't see myself putting more risk on in this account because I don't like to do that. I don't like to have outsized red days. I'd prefer to just cap it. Of course, I'd like to end green. I'd like to come back and be taking a payout today, and put up a big green day in this live account. But the downside of that is you have to accept that if you put another $1,000 worth of risk on, that red day could be $2,000, right? And if you're not going to put those big green days up or be comfortable with that, then you probably don't want to continue on trading. But I'm still watching, and again, I'll still frame stuff with you guys, even if it's not something that I'm able to take on this account. Could still put something on. Taking a look at Bookmap over here. Yeah, we've been coming down to grab some of this liquidity. We had some BS getting moved around here. But like we looked at off the open, where's 930? Off the open, we had some orders down below. We wanted to go grab those. We definitely wanted to go grab those. Came right through. Oh, yeah, duck races. Question for you. I'm in real time on Bookmap, but the price is always a few dozen points off of top 1x. Do you see that as well? No. No. You shouldn't see that. Shouldn't see that. If you are looking at, and here's how we can look at this side by side. If you were looking at real-time data, side by side on Bookmap and Project X, you should have nearly the exact same price. Now, during fast-moving markets, maybe they can be, you'll see one start to print a price quicker than the other. But as you can see, looking at my chart right here, both over here on the price ladder for YM and over here, we have the same price, right? It should be exactly the same price. We are trading in centralized markets here with the, what in the world? Centralized markets, right? All coming from the same exchange. And if you are trading YM on your chart, it should be exactly the same at the same time on my chart. If not, something's delayed, and you got to check that out. Got to try to identify what that is. NQ looking really weak. Kobe, what's up? Kobe on kick. Eyeballing this, man. Crazy. Crazy, crazy. Crack to the upside on YM, man. Yeah, like we get a close up here, dude. This is gonna look. This is gonna look aggressive. I mean, price action wise, that's gonna look aggressive, man. Big bullish engulfing candle, snapping the low and then coming all the way through the highs. That's looking like bulls in town, man. That's pretty heavy, guys. Not at all looking the same on ES and NQ. I think NQ was looking stronger overall. No, NQ looking super weak. Damn. Yeah, this is definitely interesting. Definitely interesting. If you said, Zach, you have to take a trade, you gun to your head, you have to take a trade coming up in the next couple minutes, I'd be short. I'd be short coming into these 48 200s. It's not a setup for me. It's definitely not a trade setup for me. It's not valid. You know, this is not the structure that I look for to fade a huge bullish movement off of the open with no pullbacks. It's not a continuation, right? But a sweep up near prior day high, a fill of this liquidity up here, and I'd have to assume we get some kind of a pullback, but again, not a trade for me because it's just way too aggressive, way too bullish. 600 points to the upside, you know, right off the open. I don't know. I think you're just picking a top at that point, but that if I had to take something, that would be it. Probably as we got close, because we could leave those orders on the book. I don't know if they fill, something like that. But I've been short all week and I've gotten cooked. I've been short a lot in this market, and had I just hit the buy button with a horrible way to structure risk, I would have made money. Part of trading the U.S. indices during a bull market, man. It's definitely interesting. Brian C says, take the short button off your screen. Dude. Yeah, it's almost that time. It's almost that time. It is almost that time. Today was a rough run for me, but didn't blow any accounts. Means I can come back tomorrow and try it again. There you go. That's the key. Staying out of it today. I feel that. What would your good MLL or per trade on a 150K account? All right. That's enough. Would you be sorry, I missed the question. What would be a good MLL or per trade on a 150K account in your opinion? Depends, brother. Depends. It comes down to risk tolerance, experience, you know, all of those things. Me or nobody else can tell you what you should risk per trade or per anything really. So I'd say, you know, if you want to hold on to the account for a period of time, if you want to trade it like a live account, the way that I would go about structuring risk and deciding that number, you have a $4,500 max loss limit, right? For the most part in 150K. Maybe it's a $6,000 max loss limit, but whatever that number is, right? What does your average win rate and average risk to reward look like? And from that number, you can get an idea of how many losses you stand to take over a large sample size of trades. And from there, you can go to worst case scenarios and decide how many losses you want to give yourself before the account's blown. Most traders on prop firm accounts, including myself, are going to trade significantly more aggressively than they would if it was just a big live account, right? But at the least, you want to know how many losses you have before you lose that account. And that should be somewhat relative to your average win rate and risk to reward, right? If you are a very low win rate, high risk to reward trader, because this is different for everybody, you probably want to take on a very small amount of risk. You are going to need to take a lot of losses. You're going to have big strings of losses, but that big risk to reward is going to carry you. Maybe you are a more modest one-to-one. Maybe you're negative. Maybe you just have a higher win rate in general. Maybe you're able to take on slightly more risk, right? Past that, right? That's the tighter risk management picture. Past that, larger risk management picture, I'd be looking at how willing are you to lose that account, right? Is it your only prop firm account? Is the price of the account a lot of money to you? Do you want to hold on to it for a long period of time? Do you not want to risk losing it at all? Or are you looking to work yourself towards payouts quicker, right? Are you comfortable losing prop firm accounts, on the way to larger and faster payouts, right? That's also going to tell you, how much you should be risking. So it's not a simple black and white question, right? It just comes down to all of those things. If you are a beginner trader, if you're struggling, if you haven't taken any payouts, I think you should be more conservative, right? Also, if you're just not well funded and you don't want to risk losing, losing those accounts. If you, maybe you've taken payouts, maybe you are, starting to gain some traction. Maybe you've, taken it slow already, which makes sense first, right? Then you want to start to get more aggressive. But most traders go completely the opposite. They're way too aggressive, digging a hole every day, losing accounts. The how they need to get themselves out of that hole gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then just gets stuck. Right? Take it slow. Take it slow first. Yeah, hope that helps. Use a equity, if you want to go even more detailed, use an equity curve simulator. There's free equity curve simulators. You can just Google. I'm not partnered or affiliated with anyone. I don't have one to recommend. But use a free equity curve simulator. Throw your average win rate and risk to reward in there. And take a look at what that equity curve looks like for a different risk per trade. You can throw all of those metrics in, and you can see how likely you are to go into X amount of drawdown, $3,000, $4,000, and stand losing that prop firm account based on your win rate and risk to reward. Be conservative with it. But that at least gives you the idea of, if I do everything right and I'm accurate with these numbers, which most traders aren't, here's where I need to be with risk to keep things controlled. That's the exercise that you really want to do if you want to hold on to accounts. That's important to do. Indices have bounced back as well. Hold it short, MES, draining my mental capital. I feel that. Appreciate you for sure. Big wall of orders at 48,200. Yep. Yeah, we're looking at that. Getting close. Finding some sellers at this volume point of control. I don't know, man. This is way too strong. This thing is just too strong. If it sells off, I think there's obviously a huge opportunity to the downside. If we flip this into a bearish candle, that would be a huge move. But we've broken initial balance high. We're continuing to push to the upside. Not nearly as likely now that we come down and break this low. I'm honestly entertained watching this. I really yeah, ES coming back up, at least for now. Again, YM lives in its own world, man. I can't find consistency on who's leading who, or correlation and lack of correlation between different days, and then what to do with that information. I can't. I don't find it super duper helpful. I do run ES Bookmap over here for a couple of reasons. Like I said, as I'm getting used to YM Bookmap, I'm kind of comparing the two against each other, because like everything, I think Bookmap takes a long time to get used to. I think it takes a while of staring at it before you develop some intuition and experience around it. Gold seems to be the same way. It just does its own thing. Yeah, man, it does. Gold lives in its own world also. Yeah, man, we're gonna have to see up here. I don't know that I'm gonna find something on here really aggressively. I'm interested to see, do we crack this high? Do we just go and run? How far do we go? How big of a daily range do we put in? It's gonna be interesting to watch this one, but no reversion on that initial pop back up, right? Not even a sniff of VWAP from the open after we cracked right through it. Generated an L for me here in the top 1 futures live account that I'm in. Nothing crazy. Going to keep risk controlled and not take anything outsized today, right? Looking to continue to fade this thing or do anything wild. On that note, before we're there, if you guys want to check out Top 1 Futures, quick plug. 55% off the instant funded accounts. 50% off the Ignite funded accounts. 6 months and $16 million paid out to traders. Remember, guys, I'm partnered. I'm affiliated. If you guys want to check these out, link is in the chat. This is one of the best opportunities in the instant funded prop firm space, in my humble opinion. These accounts were on the website for a little while. They took them off. They brought them back with no minimum trading days and no more ESS. It's a consistency rule. It is tighter. It's a 15% consistency rule. These have other drawbacks because they are the cheapest instant funded account industry-wide. Preferred accounts, the big boy accounts, the instant funded, the OG instant funded, 20% consistency. Also, no minimum trading days to pay out. Nice wide end-of-day trailing drawdowns, standard profit targets, and a real decent amount that you could take out while you're trading sim, working yourself towards a live account, hopefully. Yeah, outside of that, guys, I'm going to wrap it. I'm going to wrap it today. It's going to be a 1L for me. I'm going to keep risk controlled. I'm not going to put anything else on this account. I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I appreciate you guys hopping on. As always, we're going to be here 9:15 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. Halloween. Happy Halloween. Maybe we got some fun stuff going on for Halloween. I don't know. You're going to have to hop on to find out. But appreciate you guys being here. Quick disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't provide financial advice. Nothing I say or do is suggestion or recommendation to do anything at all. Make sure you do your own research, make your own trading decisions. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even if funded prop firm accounts. And the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content, like Top 1 Futures, code RDF, Bookmap, and others. Appreciate you guys hopping on. Thanks for being here. Trade safe the rest of the day. Hope you had a better trading session than me. Talk to you guys in Discord. I'll be following up with a bunch of people because I know I got messages in there to answer. Talk to you guys in Discord. See you here tomorrow, 9:15 a.m. Eastern.